Hey guys, it's Shari James here, and on this episode of Hymology, I am interviewing Susan Morgan Taylor and my three wisdom bombs. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Shari James RN. I help men avoid eating medications, get off of them, or in some cases, get them to work with my holistic approach to erectile dysfunction. All right, I can't wait to hear your answer on this. A surprising sex technique to use when you lose your erection that nobody, apparently not even me, is talking about. All right, like I'm all ears. When I
I
saw
knew
that
you.
one come in, I'm like, I can't wait to hear this.
I knew you would love that one. I think this is great for your audience. And I don't think you're talking about this. If you are, I haven't seen it. You might be bringing this in, but I don't know because
I love learning new stuff.
you are the erection coach. So yeah, and I think, the piece with this is, let me just preface this before I share what this secret technique
Okay.
is that the truth of the matter is there's either an erection or there isn't. Now, if you work with Shari, hopefully there is one more frequently than there isn't. However, the reality is that sometimes there might not be. And what I see happen a lot is a lot of times couples will just make that the end of the whole situation, right? Like, oh well, like I'm not hard, so let's just call it a night, and everything kind of comes to a halt.
Yeah.
Well, what one thing that you can do instead of that, what I recommend to the couples that I work with, is a technique called soft penetration. Have you does Shari know this one? So soft penetration is actually, it is one of the most beautiful practices that I've encountered in my own sexual journey that can be practiced even just intentionally, just as a way to connect genitally, to connect in that sexual way with your partner, whether or not there's an erection. Specifically in this case, it's a wonderful thing to do when there isn't one, and you can still actually have that body to body contact. Soft penetration is exactly what it sounds like. It's where there is not an erection, but you still are able to enter the yoni just a little tiny bit. Now, there's a certain position that you do have to get comfortable doing. Y'all can like look this up on the internet. It's called the scissors position. It's a common, yeah, we know that a lot from same-sex female to female relationships, but heterosexual couples can use this as well. It's a very relaxed way, a very what we might call like a yin style of lovemaking, where we're not very active. It's a lovely technique to use when you're really when she's tired and like not in the mood. This is a beautiful thing because a lot of times that comes in because it's like sex. We have this idea that sex has to be really active, that a lot of stuff has to happen, it has to be really excitement based. But the other approach to sex is this relaxed style of just coming together gently and connecting genitally. So, scissors position, you need to use a lot of oil or lube. You both get nice and lubed up. And then you really are only going to be able to get in there maybe just an inch or two. It's not a lot. So this is not about creating tons of excitement or tons of sensation. But what you both do is then you relax. And because of the position that you're in, that scissors position, you actually can make gentle eye contact. You can even close your eyes and you take all your awareness just into the genitals to that point of contact where your genitals are meeting, and you just relax and breathe. And I personally have actually had full body orgasms from just this practice alone, from just learning to open my receptivity to receiving my partner more on almost like an energetic level, and just taking my attention just to that little bit where I am able to feel him in me. So it's very simple, but it's also, no one's talking about this because we're very conditioned to think that sex has to be exciting, that it has to end in orgasm or ejaculation.
Goal oriented.
Yeah, goal
Yeah.
oriented sex, and no one's considering that this connection and sex can still happen even without needing to have a really solid erection.
I
Soft penetration is a thing.
love that. Yeah, I personally don't teach that one because my whole goal is for the man to get the erection.
Yes.
So I think the audience is getting more familiar with my scale that I use, my erection scale. So I would say on a 1 to 10, 7 being hard enough to penetrate, but not necessarily rock hard. I think what you're talking about is more of like a 5 or 6.
Or
Because
a zero, or even a zero. I mean, the
okay.
beauty the beauty of, yeah, you can even with nothing, like a totally flaccid, let me say the
Wow.
word on here. Yeah, I mean, so that's the beauty. And there's no rule that says you can't grow while you're in there. Like, that can happen too. So,
Yeah.
no matter where people are on the journey with you, Shari, this is something while they're working on developing their erection, that this is still a tool they can use in their relationship to still have that genital connection. And hey, yeah, I mean, you can welcome to get an erection while you're in there. Nothing's stopping you from that.
Well, yeah, and I teach a lot of body wisdom. And so a practice like that, actually, the body knows what to do. So what you're speaking of is a beautiful practice. It's in alignment with one of my mantras that I teach, which is pleasure, not pressure.
Yes.
So if things are going wonky for whatever reason, both couples tend their nervous systems both shut down, and it's like, right? And so moving into a practice like this, or focusing on this, goes in alignment with pleasure, not pressure.
Absolutely. Well, I know that you teach a lot also on, relaxation is a huge part of an erection, right?
Oh yeah. I would say
Yeah.
number
And so
one.
probably the number one thing. And it's also the very first part of pleasure as well. If we are not in a relaxed state, the wrong part of our brain is online. We don't want fight or flight. That's not a state that engenders pleasure and orgasm and sexual desire and arousal. It works against it because it increases cortisol levels. So when we come into a state of relaxation, that's what allows us actually to begin to generate more of the hormones that are conducive to sexual arousal and lovemaking, like oxytocin, for example. When we're making soft eye contact, we have body to body, skin to skin touch. These are all these really beautiful bonding hormones that help deepen that connection, which if we go back to that emotional connection piece that we talked about in wisdom bomb number 1, like when that's missing for her, she's not going to desire you. This soft penetration practice is a very beautiful way to come together to increase that bonding hormone, and also to take pressure off that doesn't have to turn into anything, because that's a big complaint that a lot of women make as well. Like, all he ever wants is sex. He just touches me because he's wanting sex, which might not really be true. But like, this can help actually take that program away, because there's no pressure for this to have to go anywhere or turn into anything. So that relaxation piece is it's really key to any kind of trying to work towards more erection or arousal or have increased sexual desire. We have to have that relaxation piece online first. So this is a wonderful practice for that.
And going back to just really simple practices, when two people eye gaze or make eye contact, you're actually co-regulating, which is sending cues of safety to the nervous system. So even that, I find myself recommending that to some of my clients. Well, hey, for the next couple of weeks, work on making more eye contact.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be these big, crazy things, or
right.
Really, sometimes the most simple practice can be the most profound.
Absolutely. And that's what the couples that I coach, that is the feedback that I get when I introduce this practice. It is an absolute game changer. I have one couple I'm working with right now. They're just extremely busy. They both work full-time jobs. They have a toddler who's really needs they're exhausted at the end of their day. They just don't have time or energy for sort of the more excitement-oriented lovemaking. So this practice has been really invaluable for them as a way to come together and to connect, where they're still getting that intimate time, and it's actually nourishing to their nervous system. It's not like another thing that's depleting them, or another thing like, oh my gosh, we have to like check off the to-do list. And it's really, really beautiful and a very nourishing experience. So it really has a lot of applications, and I'm glad that I was able to share that with your audience today.
Hey, you. Hey, guy, who's learning about sexual health, mixed in with some Tantra, mixed in with some 5 elements of Chinese medicine and some Western medicine. I want to let you know something. I would love it if you would hit my subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, you're going to know when new content is posted every Friday.